Hi guys, Jen here with Blessed by Angels, and today I am bringing you some good vibes only with our loved ones for messages from the other side. One of my absolute favorite experiences when it comes to sessions is being able to relay messages from the other side about someone's children or grandchildren offering assistance. A lot of times the parent is really trying to help their children. They're doing all that they can or all that they think they can do to be able to help their children have a great life or maybe to overcome any challenges that they might experience. And it's so refreshing to have their loved ones on the other side bring ideas or bring insight to a parent in a different way than they've experienced before. We view things in this way. We only have this vision. And those on the other side, it's like their vision is broadened and they're able to see and to understand a little bit more about what's going on than maybe we experience. Now, when you're in the moment of something, when maybe you have a kid who's very, very, very hyperactive and is always jumping around, is always go, go, go. And as a parent, it can be frustrating, like, okay, just sit down and be quiet. You're too wild, I can't handle it. Sit down and be quiet. And a lot of times I find that there's different commonalities within children, within different personality traits or different things that children have to offer. So one that I love is experiencing the energy of a child who is very hyperactive, very go, 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 constantly getting in trouble or constantly moving. I had a grandmother come forward talking about her grandson to her daughter. Does that make sense? That was kind of confusing. So who was with me in the session, who was experiencing the session was the daughter, and her mother had passed away. Now her mother was talking about her grandson. Okay, that makes more sense. And I could see like this little boy like jumping up and down, and even at dinner like not being able to sit in a chair, and at school always getting in trouble because he couldn't sit still. And so I was addressing all of these things that I was seeing, and she even addressed how he would not eat broccoli, like he would just throw his broccoli and just hated it. And she said like, yeah, last night we had broccoli and I was so frustrated because he just had a rough day at school. He wasn't behaving at home. He wouldn't eat his food. So she was just expressing like, that's literally what happened to me last night. And so her mother gave insight about how, his body can be used for good. And a lot of times when someone is very hyperactive, it can be easy to want to shut down that activity or chemically change what's going on within their body. And I'm not saying this is bad or wrong. I don't have an opinion in that per se that I'm bringing forward. Or what her mother had offered her was maybe you can help him learn to use his body in a positive way instead of saying, hey, sit down and shut up. Because that's bringing forth shame of like, well, I have all this energy, but it's bad and it's wrong. And in the future, that could lead to not being able to know how to use the body in a proper way as an outlet. And it could come forward with addictions, whether it's food, sugar, soda, alcohol, drugs, anything like that could become a possibility if someone doesn't know how their body can be used as a positive outlet versus a negative outlet. And so her mother was addressing, he's very competitive. So maybe you make a chart and it's all about being able to break his record with using his body. So maybe it's like, okay, you have 30 seconds, and let's see how many jumping jacks you can do in those 30 seconds. And then keep it up on the wall so that he can see his time or he can see those numbers and he can learn to outbeat himself or learn to outgrow those first numbers. And so it's learning to get off that energy or to blow that energy, to get rid of it in a positive light instead of maybe wanting to beat up the sister or be very active or very physical or get angry quickly. And so she even addressed how, maybe it's you set up like an obstacle course and you say, okay, this is the obstacle course for the week. I want you to practice this or whatever that looks like, but being able to push him in his body so that he can learn that is a positive outlet. And maybe that's saying, hey, you have so much energy. I love how much energy that you have. How about you go run 5 times around the house and let's see how long that takes you. Now, as you could see, that could create very positive patterns within a child, within a kid at a young age, so that when they're older, maybe if they have a stable job, or maybe they're working in an office and they're sitting down all day, it can become easy for someone to be very depressed and to lose the momentum within their body, which ultimately is a part of their self-expression. So when we say, sit down and shut up, it's almost like we're turning off that part of their self-expression. And so then they do that within their life, and it's easier to feel more heavy or to not feel as happy or fulfilled because that big part of who that person is has been shut down. And so maybe when they're older and they work at a job, they sit at an office, they sit at a desk all day, if they're able to see how their body can be a positive outlet, they might more frequently go to the gym or go do a sport that they like, to be able to be reconnected to who they are and not become numb in life and just survive because they're not being active. Another experience that I had was a mother. She had passed away when her children were really young, and a stepmother had stepped in to raise her children. And it was such a beautiful session, but she wanted to address how to help her children because the oldest daughter, I think she was about 12 at the time, and she was starting into being a lot more critical of herself, a lot more quiet, a lot more emotional. Like you could just tell she was struggling a lot. And so the mother expressed to the stepmother how it would be helpful to, as she was younger, her daughter really loved being able to do crafts, being able to paint things and to draw things and to put things together. And so she said, maybe what you could think about doing is helping her have more crafting time. But she also addressed how her daughter was really having a hard time feeling confident within herself. And so then I saw on the wall like this tree that they could make and then have different leaves to put on that tree on the wall of things that she was proud of herself for each day. So maybe for 30 days, they have this tree on the wall, and she's able to put each leaf, she's able to decorate each leaf each day and write down 3 things that she loves about herself within that day. And then she can see that tree, all of these leaves, all of these amazing things about her, and being able to help her build her self-confidence and to reconnect into what she loved to do when she was younger so that she could be able to re-experience that now. So she remembered who she was, and it wasn't like she was forgetting who she was because she was trying to fit in with all of the people around her. There are so many ways to help our children. It's just looking outside of the box and being able to say, okay, even if they're frustrating, what are their positive gifts? What are they here to accomplish? And part of their greatest gifts are also their greatest weaknesses. So it's being able to differentiate, okay, this is such a strong suit for them, but it can also be a negative impact. So how can I help them use that impact in a positive way versus have it be a negative way? It's a lot more energy for a parent to notice, but it's so much more rewarding in the long run. And our loved ones on the other side just want to offer love and assistance and support, and knowing that those children are taken care of, that when they go to school or when they're with friends, they always have protection around them. So a mother can only do so much, or a father can only do so much in hoping for a child to be safe and knowing that they have angels around them to protect them, to help them within their life journey. But also, they love to give ideas and insight about how to help a child so that they don't shut down and they don't feel like they can't be who they came here to be. I absolutely love working with children and helping parents understand more how to help children. And so it's just so amazing to see how our loved ones want to offer so much support within our children because they know it's such a big and responsibility for their caretakers to be able to watch them, take care of them, and help them grow within a positive light. But it's just something really cool to be able to experience and see like, okay, this is a positive element within my child. How can I cultivate this a little bit stronger? So if this video helps you in any way, please feel free to subscribe to learn more about messages from our angels on the other side.